Tonight at 5:30 on Check.
Hi, I'm Judy Tyabji. Thanks very much for joining us today. Today we bring you a special presentation. We have two guests with us, and one is Ghandi. As you may have heard me mention a few minutes ago, he is the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, and he will be talking about lessons he learned from his grandfather. What's interesting is that his son has just declared for election in India, and he'll be running for political office. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I know with all the shows that we've been doing over the last few weeks, it seems to me that our society is in serious need of redefining. If you pick up the newspapers today, you'll see again and again tales of abuse, tales of institutional corruption, and things that need to be fixed. These are many things we've discussed over the last year as we've done this show. And yet it seems like we haven't really been focused and been grounded on what's causing this corruption. And sometimes I think we just have to look in the mirror to see where we're falling short. And our other guest will talk a little bit about that. But surely if we can't get beyond some of the materialistic concerns, we're going to have a difficult time dealing with what's important and what's basic. And we'll be looking at the principles of Gandhian philosophy. A little later, we'll take your calls on your opinions of nonviolence right now to this number. As I mentioned, we have Ghandi with us. We also have Gail Schultz. She is with the Victoria Center for Self-Awareness. And I want to first thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
great.
you for having us on the show.
Yeah, now my grandfather worked with your grandfather, I guess is one way to say it. I had meant to tell people I've never really mentioned much about my own family background, but I think you know some of the Tyabjis in India.
Oh yes, very well.
Yeah.
And they've contributed a substantial amount to freedom of India and the growth of India.
And yet the Tyabjis are Muslim and the Gandhis are Hindu, and it seems like there's been an overcoming of that kind of religious tension. I guess I have to ask you though, we see in the news that the U.S. might go to war with Saddam Hussein. Your grandfather was always talking about nonviolence, extending love to each other, overcoming these kinds of frictions. How would you possibly deal with someone like Saddam Hussein or like a Hitler or someone who just, it doesn't matter what kind of tactics they have to use. They want to use these weapons of mass destruction.
Well, it's a good question. It's one that I keep facing almost every day nowadays. But, you know, we've become very good crisis managers over the years. We wait until a crisis brews up and blows up in our face, and then we try to find a solution to that. And I think Saddam Hussein in Iraq is a prime example of how we allowed a conflict to continue to brew until it became a crisis, and now we want to get rid of Saddam Hussein and we want to get rid of Iraq. But at one stage Iraq was a good friend of ours. And
certainly of the United States, yeah.
So we've got to learn, and I think the basic philosophy of nonviolence is to learn to recognize conflicts and to do something about it before they become crises.
Okay, in this case though, you know that one of Gandhi's principles was non-cooperation. Do not cooperate with evil. As the show goes on, we're going to show a few little clips from the movie Gandhi so that people who aren't familiar can see some pretty basic examples. But to some extent, the United Nations said, well, we will not cooperate with Iraq. We will have sanctions. We saw that that had some impact on South Africa. But in Iraq, we're seeing people starving to death. We're seeing children being born malnourished, and many are dying. And it doesn't seem to be moving the dictator. It seems to that all of us who are not cooperating with him are punishing the people who are the most vulnerable. How do we deal with something like that?
Well, we've got to understand sanctions have a limitation, you know, and unless all the countries of the world are prepared to participate in the sanctions, it's not really going to work. In South Africa, it didn't work as much as we thought it would, because there were many countries who were trading with South Africa in spite of the sanctions. And the same thing is happening with Iraq. I mean, there's no way we can make the whole world accept the sanctions and not trade with Iraq. So unless we can do that, it's not a very effective tool.
Okay. We're going to take a few phone calls, and then I want to bring you into this as well, Gail. Why did you bring Mr. Ghandi to Canada? Because he lives in Tennessee. See, that's not what you'd expect. Mahatma Gandhi's grandson is out in Memphis.
In Memphis, Tennessee,
yeah,
of all the places.
Down with Elvis's Graceland or
Exactly.
something. Okay, let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Emma first in Nanaimo. Hi, Emma.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I hope I can make my thoughts clear here.
Okay.
I live in Nanaimo, and it seems to be quite a racist kind of community, and I am a white person, but what I'm seeing is that people make fun of the fact that other ethnic people live together, like 2 or 3 families or whatever live together in a home, and they help each other, and I think that is what is missing in society today, is that people aren't communicating or having their children be with their aunts and uncles and sisters, cousins, grandmas and grandpas.
So you're talking about the sort of the intolerance of that kind of culture.
Yes, it's the intolerance, and I think we have something. I think as a society we have something to learn from other cultures, in that other cultures seem to keep families together, and that in the Caucasian cultures seem to
not value that. Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to separate, they go away, and they. I think there's really something. There's a value.
Okay, I think
there, and I think it's wrong to dismiss that kind of value.
Okay. Well, thank you for raising that. I'm not sure what it's like in Tennessee. Certainly, in British Columbia, with a lot of many Indian families are immigrant families, and they frequently will help each other out. And it may not be exactly what the bylaws are supposed to allow for, but you'll see those families coming together. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, indeed. I think, nonviolence, one of the principles of nonviolence is relationship building. And unless we build relationships on the basis of respect, understanding, acceptance, and appreciation, we are not going to have good relationships. And I think what we see in the Western culture today is a lack of relationships.
It does seem like it's one of the dysfunctions of the society.
It is, and it's becoming very serious. We need to take some cognizance of this and do something about it, because all the violence that we see in this society and in many of the Eastern societies now is because the family ties are breaking up. We've become so materialistic.
Nobody can lean on
families.
Yeah,
families have come down in our list of priorities.
Right.
Our priorities now are jobs and making money and
new car, new stereo.
Cars, and
right.
So we've got to put the family back on top, and unless we do that, it's going to create a lot
worse.
of
Okay, we're a little over time for break. If you're trying to get through by phone, please let it ring, because we will get to you as soon as we can, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Remove the background, and it all becomes amazingly clear. The Digital PCS Network. Be free. BC Tel Mobility.
Oh, I see that you're in the market for the Toyota Sienna minivan. Winning Best New Minivan Award in Canada sure doesn't hurt. With 194 horses, Sienna has the largest standard horsepower in its class. And priced from $26,300, Sienna minivan holds value and your family. BC's best-selling import at a mini rate. Save over $3,000 with 4.8 no-limit financing over 60 months. Make haste, the Fast Start sales event at your Toyota BC dealers.
Once a year for one day, United Carpet makes it even easier to buy floor coverings. It's United Carpet's Crazy Carpet Caper. Save on every floor covering in the store. This is the biggest carpet sales event of the year. Doors open at 6 a.m. on Saturday, February 7th. Huge savings on absolutely everything in the store. 6 months are as good as cash. Get air miles, travel miles. Come see this special. United Carpet's Crazy Carpet Caper, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. only on Saturday, February 2nd.
Carpet, we've got personality.
Welcome to the ocean.
Dreams last for so long.
Start your workday with 98 minutes of music commercial-free.
The Ocean, FM 98.5.
I'm everything I am because you love me.
I only want to be with you.
Victoria's at-work choice, The Ocean.
Listen.
And we're talking to Aaron Ghandi and Gail Schultz. Gail Schultz, just before we show you something, Gail, you actually asked Mr. Ghandi to come in and to do a couple of lectures. Why did you ask him?
Well, one of our mandates, Judy, is to make a difference to our extended community, and we have brought in people like Deepak Chopra and John Bradshaw. We felt that Mr. Ghandi coming was very timely for Victoria, although we did ask him to come way in the fall.
He's busy, I bet.
Yes, so I feel it's very timely. And also when we look at the Center for Self-Awareness, we look very much about ourself, our relationship to ourself. I found it interesting, Mr. Gandhi's comments about relationship and how we handle conflict.
Right.
So it's very big as far as our mandate goes, as far as making a difference in the world and healing separation, the consciousness of separation,
Okay.
and returning us back to realizing that we're all one.
Okay, we're going to take a couple of calls in just a sec, but before we do, the movie Ghandi, made by Richard Attenborough, won 9 Academy Awards. If you haven't seen it, you should go rent it tonight. This is a scene from that movie, and it's in about 1893, and Mohandas Gandhi has recently arrived in South Africa. He is a lawyer. He has staged his first public protest. Almost nobody has shown up except for one reporter, and they are about to burn some passes that they had to carry around because they were Indian. Let's take a look.
You little Sammy. Now! Are there any more? If you want this kind of trouble, you can have it.
Let me go! Let me go!
Stop.
And it's, as I was saying, it's kind of tough even to watch the movie on that.
It is,
That was the
yeah.
very beginnings.
Mhm.
Took 50 years to liberate India
Mhm.
after that. Okay, we'll go back to the phones. Let's talk to Steve in Duncan. Hi, Steve.
Hi there.
Hi,
Enjoy your show.
Thank you.
I got an article here
Okay.
that talks about Gandhi's 7 blunders which still plague the world. I was wondering if his grandson would remember them at all. Apparently he gave them to him 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what he's
Yes.
talking about?
Yes,
Oh, you
I
do?
do.
Oh, and he has
I,
one. He has it in his
I
pocket.
have them in my pocket.
Did you have a specific question on that then?
Well, I just wanted to know if he'd go through them because they sound quite like they would have been. They're still valid today as they probably were yesterday, and I was wondering if he could go through them.
Okay, well, thank you for that. The 7 blunders.
Sure, there are 7 blunders that Gandhi said were responsible for all the violence that we see in our world today.
Okay.
And that is wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, worship without sacrifice, and politics without principles. And I added the 8th one recently, and that's rights without responsibilities.
Ah. Well, I think that would strike quite a chord in Canada. I know
All
it would.
over the world, I guess.
Yeah, very much so. We certainly have heard a lot of those, many things in the last few months. Let's talk to Leah now in Richmond. Hi, Leah.
Hi.
Hi, go ahead.
I would like to say that my heart are with the people in Iraq. However, I think that if Saddam Hussein was any other criminal, he would be long time ago to justice just because he's a leader of a country. Unfortunately, we let leader of the country to be criminal and still be accepted and be talked to as equal. That's our. This is our.
So that's where we're falling short, as you think, because he's a leader, he's getting off the hook?
Oh, definitely. You can see it all over. I mean, you just the other day had the other conversation about the Tamils.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's unfortunate. The other thing I would like to mention that we will have problem in the Middle East, which my mother, she was working with the king in Iran. And the thing is that the religious, you cannot fight Muslim against Muslim if it's anyway. It's something to religious that I don't want to really elaborate here, but
okay. Well, let's
unfortunate.
Let's ask him the question about leadership. And I guess if I can add sort of something that might sound a little bit reactionary, but some people say that we're too soft on criminals even now. I mean, he's a criminal in the international arena. Some people say one of the problems in Canadian society is, criminals are getting out of jail too soon. We don't crack down on them because we're trying to be too understanding and too sort of, loving and forgiving. And they don't reciprocate.
Well, that's true. You see, we become loving and understanding only after they become criminals. What we need to do is be loving and understanding before they become criminals.
So these people,
these people are not criminals because they're born that way. Nobody is born a criminal. They become criminals because of the circumstances in which they have to live and grow up there. And so those circumstances create them and make them criminals.
But your grandfather also believed very strongly that if there is a law, you follow that law or you accept the consequences. He himself spent a good portion of his life in jail.
Yeah, there are two types of laws. There are laws that are unjust and which must be opposed, and there are laws that are just and which must be obeyed.
Okay. Let's now talk to Don in Surrey. Hi, Don.
Hello?
Yes, it's your turn.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. You've got it. Yeah, you've got it delayed. Just listen to your phone and not your TV.
Yes. Hello, Judy.
Yeah.
You have a lovely program.
Thank you.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Ghandi in his own language. I was born in Lahore.
Okay.
And Ganji Sahib Baap Kaisa hai aaj?
Theek hai.
Acha. I was born there, and I even went back to India, and our family was loved so much we hated to leave. But we chose Canada, and we welcome you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I met your grandfather when I was 12 years old in Simla. And thank you, and God bless you. Ram Ram.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, that's very nice. And so I guess you run into people from India wherever you go. You spend a lot of time traveling.
I think Indians exist everywhere, even in Iceland if I go there.
It's very cold. My mom went to Winnipeg one year. I have to tell you, she walked around in a sleeping bag the whole time in the winter time. She said it was too cold. Now let me see. Where am I going now? Oh, we're going to the break? Okay. Just before we go to the break though, Gail, now tonight is the first of 2 lectures on lessons that my grandfather taught me by Mr. Ghandi.
That's right. Tonight is that topic, and tomorrow is nonviolence or non-existence options for the 21st century.
Meaning that if we don't choose nonviolence, we'll end up obliterating it.
Non-existent.
Non-existent, okay.
Both events are at 7 o'clock at the church on the corner of Balmoral and Quadra.
Okay, and I think we have some information to show them on screen in the next segment. We're going to take a quick break, 2 minutes. We'll be back with more of your calls and Mr. Ghandi.
Tyabji is brought to you in part by Metro Lexus Toyota, leaders in customer satisfaction.
Sometimes you just get more than you bargained for.
I think it's stuck in the drain.
Well, let's take a look.
Oh,
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot. Value Village is having a full moon sale this Saturday. All pants are half off.
Join Value Village for their big full moon sale on Saturday, February 7th. All pants plus everything else in the store are half off. That's right, save 50% on everything all day Saturday.
Have we got news for you? Every day something happens that has meaning for our readers. Stories that deserve more than a minute on the news. We cover the stories that matter the most, in depth. News that matters and topics you care about, like sports, life and the arts, local news, editorials, and the TV Times. And if you call this number right now, you can get the Times Colonist for 2 weeks free. Free for 2 weeks. Just call 1-800-663-6384 and get the news you care about.
Thank you for calling the Times Colonist. How may I help you?
Call 1-800-663-6384.
We cover the local stories that matter most to you.
The Times Colonist. We don't just cover the news, we deliver it.
It could be the breathtaking beach, or the elegant dining, or maybe the cozy log cottages. In any case, discover the difference at Tynemera Resort Hotel in Parksville. The romance, the pampering, the luxury and nature you owe yourself. Your weekend getaway at Tynemera is affordably priced. Tynemera Resort Hotel in Parksville on Vancouver Island. Call toll-free 1-800-663-7373 and discover the difference.
And today, the subject, Gandhi's grandson, Arun Ghandi, is here, and also Gail Schultz with the Victoria Centre for Self-Awareness. And we'll go back to the phones and show you some background information in just a sec. But just before we do, I have to clear something up. What is your relationship to Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, and Sonia Gandhi?
No relationship at all. They belong to a very different family altogether. And I guess the only relationship you might say there exists is she is the daughter of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru,
right,
who was very close to grandfather, and so, there's no blood relationship, but there's just a
political
one.
Do you find people think that you're related to Indira
Yeah,
Gandhi?
everybody thinks
Yeah, I
that,
find that a little confusing. But so Nehru, who was Gandhi's political partner, had a daughter who happened to marry someone whose name was Gandhi.
Yeah, and actually he's a Parsi.
Yeah.
He was a Parsi.
Yeah.
So they spelt the name very differently.
Oh, I see.
But they changed it to this spelling because I think they wanted to capitalize
I'm sorry, I shouldn't
on
laugh. But if people meet a Tyabji, then that's some sort of cousin of mine, because the Tyabjis are not that big a family. Okay, before we go to the phones, we're going to give you a little background on the principles of Gandhian philosophy. So these are just a few in terms of public and personal policy. One must have an unconditional commitment to be truthful and authentic, and each of us should be nonviolent in relationships at all levels. But at the same time, we must accept that all forms of violence cannot be eliminated, and we should use our talents as much for the sake of others as ourselves. We should use our talents to empower others to bring about social change, and out of respect and understanding, we should accept one another's differences. Then we move beyond understanding others towards appreciating and celebrating our differences, and finally we accept the interconnectedness of all life. And of course that became very important in his later life as he had the farm and the ashrams and that sort of thing. Okay, let's talk to Dave in New Westminster now. Hi, Dave.
Hi. First of all, I'm honored to be speaking in the presence of a Gandhi, whatever Gandhi. My comment basically is one with the major fundamental differences between prejudice and racism. Racism is thrown around an awful lot, and in actual fact, what you see a lot of times is not racism. It's a prejudice. It's based on a formulation you have made from interaction with a certain individual, certain race of individuals. I'm just wondering what Mr. Gandhi thinks about that, and how can we educate people to be more aware on the prejudice, which I believe in some respects is healthy. It helps you guide your way through life, helps you avoid pratfalls, and how not to let those prejudices formulate into the worst aspect of it, which is racism.
Okay, well that's an interesting distinction.
Yes, it is, because all of these prejudices that we have, racism or color prejudice or caste prejudice or social prejudice, religious prejudices, all of these things come out of ignorance because we don't know enough about each other, we suspect each other, we have all kind of preconceived notions about each other, and we never make any attempt to learn about each other.
Right.
So what nonviolence teaches us is that we've got to learn about each other, build bridges, break down barriers,
Right.
and
If you
try
see
to
someone
reach
who,
out.
see someone who you think, geez, I don't really like what they're up to, try to get to know them better and see if you can understand it
Exactly.
from their perspective. Okay. We're now going to talk to Don in Victoria. Hi, Don.
Yes, good afternoon there, Judy. Thanks very much for taking my call. I think what may be something to consider here in our country, Canada, that we have a Charter of Responsibilities as far as, the Charter of Rights. I think with the Charter of Rights, we see change without recognizing, excuse me, perhaps as much as the past and the future that the present change would create. And a lot of the, let's say, the politicians and even our police forces throughout Canada are far too reactionary. And what I'm getting at is it's like letting a disease fester until a point where it really is hard to kill off, you might say.
So you think that introducing a Charter of Responsibilities will help that?
I think that it would help us all, and really any change has to, what would you say, gather us all together. Because if we just change a portion of our society, we have did nothing. We have to change together, otherwise it's futile.
Okay, well that's an interesting point.
I think so, because I've been talking about that too. I said we have a human rights charter, we might as well have a human responsibilities charter.
Absolutely. It's a good idea. And of course, your grandfather was a barrister. He was someone who understood the law and frequently knew that if you're going to build a good society, it all rests with how you write the laws.
Exactly.
I think that my observation is that they're getting a bit shoddy in the writing of some of the laws, and that's one reason why we have all this problem. And it could be good for some lawyers' revenue, but
yes.
We're going to show you a piece again from the movie, and the reason that we selected this one, it's the massacre at Jallianwala Bagh. Now, it's interesting that even last year, there's still requests from India for the Queen of England to issue an apology for this. It comes under the British occupation, and what you need to know is that there was a gathering in a center where there was only one exit, an entrance, and the rest of it, you couldn't get out. And here it is. And be careful if you have children with you. They may not want to. It's very disturbing.
Should we issue a warning, sir? They've had their warning. No meetings.
Ordered your troops to fire at the thickest part of the crowd?
That is so.
$1,516 casualties with 1,650 bullets.
General, had you been able to take in the armored car, would you have opened fire with the machine gun?
I think probably yes.
And that actually was Abbas Tyabji asking the question on the commission afterwards. That's a very disturbing thing that happened.
It is a very disturbing thing, and nobody really knows the facts about it yet in terms of the number of casualties.
Right.
I mean, British historians have put it down at 385
right.
dead, whereas Indian historians say that more than 1,000 people died in that.
It's a shocking thing, and of course that was one of the turning points in the resistance. But a lot of people had to die
And more shocking than that is the fact that he was honored and given awards for his work in India.
Right, for
he
showing how
retired.
tough
he was.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk to Ashok now in Surrey. Hi, Ashok.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, go ahead.
I want to ask Mr. Arun Gandhi a couple of questions.
Sure.
On what projects you are working to spread the Gandhian philosophy, particularly in USA and Canada?
In what projects?
Yeah.
Do you have another question as well?
Yes, because in this modern Western world, what is required? It's simplicity in life and non-violence and basically this good family bonds and good relations.
Right.
Exactly. You answered my the question yourself.
Okay, well,
this
thank
is
you
what
very
we
much
are
for that
working on.
question. But what kind of projects? I think he wants to know, like, are you speaking? Are you working on seminars? Are you?
No, we do workshops, seminars, lectures.
You founded an institute.
Institute. We have an institute in Memphis. It's on the campus of Christian Brothers University.
Isn't that funny? I'm sorry, but Memphis, Tennessee, and a Christian Brothers University, and there you are with your principles on nonviolence.
Well, yeah, a lot of people want to know why Memphis, and I say, well, it's appropriate because Dr. King was assassinated there.
Okay.
And so, we should
There's a
be working in that field of nonviolence.
Okay.
But yes, we've been trying to influence young children, make them understand what is nonviolence, what do we mean by it, and the full scope of it. Not many people, not just children, but even adults, are not aware of the full scope of nonviolence.
Of the philosophy, how
of
deep
the
it is.
philosophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just quickly take a call from Bruce in Victoria. Hi, Bruce.
Hello, Judy.
Hi, go ahead.
I'm very privileged to be able to speak with you and Mr. Arun Gandhi. But from earlier in the show, near the beginning, you were mentioning this business about fragmentation of families.
Right.
And I understand that very well because my family's been in Canada since 1818.
Right.
And originally Mongolian, then across through Europe and England and Ireland and all the rest of it. But that doesn't matter. That's just family history. The thing about it is what we need is to follow the Orientals as far as extended families. Things would work much better if we ran extended families with 3 generations minimum together. Because the older member of the family has 50, 60 years experience, where then the young children coming along can learn much more rather than having a parent that's 20 years or 30 years older.
Right.
If he has a grandfather living in the same household, or a grandmother, of course, the women are very important too.
Yeah. They can pass on all the wisdom.
This is it.
Yeah.
In other words, history. They've had the experience, and my family being farmers and things in Canada when they first came here,
Right.
They were extended families.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Bruce. Just quickly on that then, Gail, I guess that's one of the things that you want to get people grounded on at the Center for Self-Awareness.
Yes, we have a concurrent youth program with all of our Sunday celebrations, Judy, and in it they very much teach the concept of oneness and love and not coming from fear as opposed to...
Right, just sort of extending to each other.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and enhancing their relationship with themselves, working on self-esteem through communication skills, the virtues.
Okay, we're going to show people now how they can get in touch with you and how they can go and hear you speak tonight and tomorrow night. If you want to see and hear Arun Gandhi, there are 2 opportunities. They're only in Victoria, though. It's the Victoria Centre for Self-Awareness at 205 2951 Tillicum Road, Victoria, BC, V9A 2A6, and you can phone 250-480-1222, and their hours are Monday to Thursday from noon to 5. You can fax them at 250-480-0022, 24 hours a day, and they have an internet website. And after the break, we'll tell you where the speeches are taking place. We'll be back with more of your calls in 2 minutes.
Real quickly, I've got something to show you. BioGuard Pool and Spa Chemicals. By the way, I'm Grant, and I own Vintage Hot Tubs. If you're looking for built to last, the guaranteed lowest running cost, and the ultimate in hydrotherapy performance, come visit our showroom at 2000 Government Street. We've all been in business 20 years. Besides saunas and gazebos, we've got portable Paradise Breeze rooms, custom-built retractable sunrooms. Isn't that great? And we also design and build sun decks. One more thing, we've got private test soak rooms that'll make you feel like gold. Oh, there's my wife.
The world is changing. Nothing is safe anymore. Millions of jobs were lost. Will yours be next? Protect your family. Create your own secure future. Start your own business at the 8th Annual Entrepreneur Expo at the P&E. Do you feel something is missing in your job? Do you want more time with your family? Discover the time-proven ways of becoming your own boss at the Business Opportunity Show of the Year. Attend the 8th Annual Entrepreneur Expo. See businesses you can own this weekend. Pacific National Exhibition.
Introducing the first ever daily protein remover for soft contact lenses. Optifree Super Cleanse. It keeps your lenses like new longer. Call and try it. Free.
Hello? Reality check. A free sample? Free is good if the product is great. So what would be great is some cold hard facts, right?
Fact. People who use Super Cleanse every day for 6 months said their soft contact lenses felt as comfortable as a pair less than a week old.
Contacts I start wearing in winter can feel as comfortable as new come summer. This has got to be hard work.
Super Cleanse is easy. Just put 1 drop in your lens case overnight with Optifree Multi-Action Solution. It's unbelievably simple.
Just 1 drop while I sleep? I'm dreaming. The free sample. Please tell me it's not a one-time shot. Please tell me it cries out, try me, for a whole month.
Okay. We'll give you a 30-day supply free.
Sold.
Call now for your 1-month supply of Optifree Super Cleanse or buy some wherever lens care products are sold. Try it, feel it, believe it.
And we're just talking about background information. We're going to show you the last clip from Ghandi. And as I say, if you haven't seen the movie, I would recommend it because it really does document the sacrifices and the commitment that's necessary to effect that kind of change. Now, in this last clip, Mr. Ghandi was just telling me it's his father who actually starts the clip. Just so you know, this is shortly after Mahatma Gandhi has led the people across India to create salt. The British have started to jail everybody, and they have just thrown Ghandi in jail, and this is the response of the protesters.
Last night at midnight, they took Gandhiji from us. They expect us to lose heart or to fight back. We will do neither. On guard! No, sir. The gate is closed.
They walked, both Hindu and Muslim alike, with heads held high, without any hope of escape from injury or death. It went on and on into the night. Stop. Women carried the wounded and broken bodies from the road until they dropped from exhaustion. Stop. But still, it went on and on. Stop. Whatever moral ascendancy the West held was lost here today. India is free, for she has taken all that steel and cruelty can give, and she has neither cringed nor retreated.
And I'm going to go to the phones in just a sec, but just before we do, the media played an enormous role in the liberation of India. As we saw there, Martin Sheen is playing the reporter. In the first scene, a reporter witnesses the brutality, and it was in the reporting of these events that the whole resistance movement was able to move along. If the media don't show up, or if they attack the protester, it would change the dynamics dramatically.
It would. But I think if the movement was carried out effectively and with the proper understanding, the media would have to take notice of it, eventually.
Okay. Now let's talk to Pat in Nanaimo. Hi, Pat.
Hi.
Hi, go ahead.
I just want to applaud your guest for continuing his work, and we all need to take responsibility for our actions.
Right.
And when throughout history, when people have been greatly oppressed, the fall of the Roman Empire, the fall of the Russian Empire, the French Revolution, history repeats itself.
Right.
And we need to learn that we need to learn work together and not let greed overtake us. And there's no reason why we should have starvation in this world. There's plenty of food for everyone. And
okay. Well, thank you.
We need to learn to work together. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for those comments. When she talks about that, we live in a world where Christmas, the biggest event of the year, is frequently driven by acquisition.
Right.
It's a race to acquire things. It's a race to be materialistic.
Grandfather used to say materialism and morality have an inverse relationship. When one increases, the other decreases.
But
and
if
we see this happening today.
yeah.
The more materialistic we become, the less moral we are.
But if we can't all be saints, because not everybody could be a Mahatma Gandhi.
No, we don't have to be all saints. But grandfather said that we need to find a level at which we can live with materialism and morality together.
Okay.
And that doesn't need a saint to
find a balance.
there.
Okay. Okay, now I think at this point we're going to show people, is that right, Kevin? Are we showing? Yes, all right, thank you, Kevin. We're going to show you where you can see the speeches. And tonight, it's from 7 to 9 p.m., Lessons I Learned from My Grandfather, is at the First Metropolitan Church at 932 Balmoral at Quadra. This is only in Victoria. And then tomorrow night, it's going to be from 7 to 9 again, Nonviolence or Non-Existence, Options for the 21st Century, again at the First Metropolitan Church at 932 Balmoral at Quadra in Victoria. And so sorry to everybody who doesn't live in Victoria. You'll have to come back and
I'll have to come back.
Yeah, okay. We have to take a break and we'll be right back.
For really fresh breath, use Scope every day. No other leading mouthwash kills more bad breath bacteria than Scope. So when you want to get one step closer, you know you can.
Sorry, is that your foot?
Get one step closer with Scope.
It's not just the wind or the cold. One of the harshest environments can be the inside of a diaper, where wetness can upset the delicate pH. Pampers Baby Dry can help. It turns the blue liquid clear as it lowers the pH, and it pulls that wetness away to help keep skin dry and healthy. Wetness can upset the delicate pH in a diaper, and Pampers Baby Dry helps control it. Help protect their skin from wetness with Pampers Baby Dry. Pamper the skin they're in.
When should you plant geranium cuttings? What's the only time of year to safely move peonies? How long can live Christmas trees remain indoors? Get answers to these and other questions by ordering the Get Up and Grow Gardening Guide and Calendar for 1998. Gord Nickel, host of the Get Up and Grow TV show, has compiled over 360 useful tips to help novices and green thumbs alike succeed in the garden. All of this timely information has been combined with rich botanical illustrations to give you an invaluable resource.
Hi, I'm Gord Nickel, host of Get Up and Grow, seen every Saturday morning on Czech TV. Order the Get Up and Grow Gardening Guide and Calendar now, and you'll receive a Forget-Me-Not seed package at no extra cost.
To order your gardening guide and calendar, send $12.99 plus $2 shipping and handling to the address on your screen, or call 1-888-456-5577 and have your credit card handy. The guide is also available at Canner Nursery in Victoria, Abbotsford, and Chilliwack. Call now and get growing in 1998.
And we're talking to Dr. Arun Ghandi. What is the doctor for?
Oh, I got 3 honorary doctorates.
Oh, 3.
Oh,
3. Not one or two, 3.
I don't deserve them, actually. But
maybe people like to say it too. Yeah. Let's talk to Bill in Abbotsford. Hi, Bill.
Yes, hi.
Hi,
I have to apologize to Mr. Ghandi about that video, that clip. I never realized how wicked it was.
Yeah.
I am half German and half Scottish. The British attacked Scotland years ago in history.
Yeah.
And there's a video on that, and that was wrong.
Right.
Now, in India, I work with a bunch of East Indian men, and they're just like anybody else.
Yeah.
Some I like, some I don't like, just like anybody else. There's no difference. And because I don't like someone, that is not racist, because there's a lot of white people I don't like also.
Well, sure. It's personal choice.
Now, in India, not long ago, they had a news bulletin. They sell children to factories to make money. What about that?
Yeah, child labor laws. That's
Yeah,
an excellent point.
it's an awful thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Thanks for raising it, Bill.
Yes, it's a tragic thing, and this is exactly what I was saying a moment ago, that materialism and morality have an inverse relationship, and so we don't mind selling our children just so that we can make a few more, bucks.
Right.
But also there's another side to this whole thing. It shows how impoverished people get, that they have gotten to that desperate situation when they have to sell their children to earn a few extra dollars or rupees to feed the family there. And so we can't just condemn this and forget about it, but we need to look at the whole problem and see what can we do to help these people get out of that kind of poverty. And
it's a lot easier to judge and dismiss those.
Exactly.
And that goes back to your earlier point about try to understand first and see
the conflict
what
first
the root
before
is.
we see the crisis.
Okay. We're going to talk to Matt in Courtney now. Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Hi, go ahead.
Jeff's got a...
Well, I don't know what that was. I think Matt needs some help. Just before we go back to phones then, Gail, what is the purpose of the Center for Self-Awareness?
We're a spiritual center for spiritual awakening, a community for that. It's about healing the sense of separation. So what we're talking about here is exactly what the center is about. It's about enhancing our relationship with each other, about empowering individuals in their own lives into true leadership, and the true self-confidence is truly knowing that we're spiritual beings going through a human experience,
So it goes
and we're
beyond
all
just
one.
tangible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk to Joyce now in Victoria. Hi, Joyce.
Good afternoon, and I really am honored to speak to a relative, any relative, of one of my icons all my life.
Okay, that's nice.
Prejudice is to prejudge without knowledge, and education is the answer to that. The only thing the only thing I am intolerant of is intolerance.
We will not tolerate it.
No. Anything else I will judge after I have gained the knowledge about the person, whatever, the food, you name it. And I just loathe intolerance.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
This goes back to the 7 blunders where Gandhi talked about knowledge without character.
Right.
And what we do today in the name of education is we give a lot of people the knowledge how to make more money, but we don't help them build their character and understand each other and build human relationships. And that is where our education is lacking today.
Oh, I see.
We give them a career. We show them how to make money. In fact, recently I was at a college in Portland or somewhere, I don't remember, I've traveled so much. But they were saying that nowadays the young people who come for enrollment very blatantly ask them, which profession I am going to be able to make more money. Just tell me that and I'm going to get enrolled for that kind of thing.
That's the goal.
The goal is to make more money,
Right.
and they want to go and get into that.
Wow.
And that's what knowledge without character is.
Isn't that's an interesting statement on society.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's talk to Gary now in Duncan. Hi, Gary.
Hello?
Hi, go ahead.
Yes, just like to ask, what does he think about the political unrest in India between the Sikhs and the Hindus?
Oh, that's a good question. And of course, we have some of that spill over into British Columbia from time to time.
Right. This is a tragedy. It shouldn't happen. We have this problem with the Sikhs, and we had the problem with the Muslims, and all of these things. And yet India ought to be able to live together and show the world that we can live with all the differences there.
Right.
It had the opportunity to do that, but it didn't take that opportunity. We played a lot of partisan politics at all levels, and everybody, because they wanted to get into political power, jockey for positions.
Right.
They didn't mind sacrificing the nation.
And now your son is going to throw himself into that?
Yeah, my son is going in, and I hope that he'll be able to do some good for the country.
I hope he has a
Because
thick
we've got to
skin.
look at people as human beings, not as Sikhs or Muslims or
Right.
Hindus, but as human beings, and live and build a nation that we can all be proud of.
Okay, and that probably applies almost anywhere. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more of your calls. And we're talking to Arun Ghandi.
Wherever you go in British Columbia, thousands of small and medium-sized businesses rely on us to guide them over challenging financial terrain and changing economic climates. We've got the accounting and computer expertise to help you succeed. It's really quite elementary. Just 8 of over 27,000 certified general accountants. We're the name brand for business in Canada.
We all want the mildness of ivory.
Hey!
Oh, you got your ivory. It doesn't have any additives or strong perfumes. That's why I trust the purity of ivory. It's mild on her skin and ours.
Who's got my ivory?
For healthy-looking skin, the look is pure ivory. For a different experience, try Ivory Moisture Care Body Wash with moisturizers.
The grime zones. They're tough. They're all over the house, and they're about to meet their match. Yes, Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean's got the muscle for tough grime, like stovetop grease, mudroom muck, and kids being kids dirt. It all shines clean because Mr. Clean muscles under to lift off dirt. Faster, better than the leading pine cleaner. Mr. Clean takes the tough out of grime zones. Everywhere, let the clean shine through with Mr. Clean.
Real quickly, I've got something to show you. BioGuard Pool and Spa Chemicals. By the way, I'm Grant, and I own Vintage Hot Tubs. If you're looking for built to last, the guaranteed lowest running cost, and the ultimate in hydrotherapy performance, come visit our showroom at 2000 Government Street. We've all been in business 20 years. Besides saunas and gazebos, we've got portable Paradise Breeze rooms, custom-built retractable sunrooms. Isn't that great? And we also design and build sun decks. One more thing, we've got private test soak rooms that'll make you feel like gold. Oh, there's my wife.
And we're talking about all kinds of things, including a couple of speeches that are coming up tonight and tomorrow night at the Self-Awareness Center.
Yes, at the church on the corner of
Balmoral and Quadra. Okay,
Yes,
good. Yeah,
7
don't
o'clock.
send them to the wrong place.
No, don't send them to our office.
Okay, let's go back to the phones and talk to Masood in North Vancouver. Are you there? Yes, it's your turn.
Hi. Okay, I have 2 questions for Mr. Ghandi. And my first question is, have there been any kind of monetary compensation to the citizens of India by the British government?
That's an interesting question.
Not that I know of, no.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And my second question is, I was born and raised in Afghanistan, and I've been in Canada for the past 6 years. Basically, we're all aware of all the problems in the country there with really bad, corrupt political system. Based on your opinions, what is the key for a good, successful democratic state nowadays? What do you think citizens have to do nowadays in order to achieve that status for their country?
Good question.
I think we need to have some principles. We need to regain our morality. I think we need to be sincere in what we want to do. We need to appreciate that people depend on us if we are politicians and if we are going to, be responsible for shaping their future and all that. So.
But people tell me all the time that good people will go into politics. For example, I said to you, Gail, will you run for office? You'd say, oh no, politics. I'm sure, I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
You're not planning to run for
No.
office. No. And so, and to that extent, I mean, to what extent should people say, all right, I have to put myself forward, this is the way it has to go, like your son is doing.
Exactly. I think that's one of the things, good people have always kept away from politics, and so we've had a whole lot of criminals getting into politics, and we deserve what we get.
Yeah, that's right. So we suffer.
So we've got to get
our own.
involved and be more conscious of things.
Okay. Let's talk to Romesh in New Westminster. Hi, Romesh.
Hi.
Hi, go ahead.
I'm thrilled to talk to Arun Bhai, whose grandfather has given us independence.
Right.
I'm a third generation Ugandan of Indian descent.
Mm-hmm.
Arun Bhai, I welcome you to BC.
Oh, isn't that
Thank
nice?
you.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you very much for
Thank
that,
you.
Ramesh. Now, Arumbai, he's calling you brother.
Mhm.
That's an honorific. That
Yes.
Do you get that? And people should know, I guess, Ghandi Ji was an honorific, Pandit Ji.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually Tyabji. That was a long time ago. I
Exactly.
can't take credit for that one. But that's something that gets added on as an honorific. So you must be very fortunate to get a chance to travel and
Oh
have
yes,
people give you
oh
that
yes,
feedback.
certainly.
Yeah, you have to live up to this name now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, let's try to take a call from Tanya in Victoria. Hi, Tanya.
Hi. I just actually wanted to ask two questions.
Okay.
The first one was, what does Dr. Ghandi believe will come of the U.S. and Canada's forced involvement with Iraq?
Okay.
And also knowing now what we know about war, how can anybody even think about confronting someone like Saddam Hussein without resulting in deaths, really? I mean,
Yeah.
they can't expect to go into that environment and not expect a war.
Okay, well, those are good questions to end on.
Well, what will happen with this war if it takes place is a lot of innocent people are going to die unnecessarily there. We are not really going to be able to get rid of Saddam Hussein in this fashion. So, if we want to get rid of Saddam Hussein, I think that has to come from the people of Iraq. And I think we need to go back to that earlier question that somebody asked about criminals being in political power. The people of Iraq have decided that Saddam Hussein is their leader. And how can we, sitting outside the country, countermand or contradict their selection?
Until they have the strength
people
to throw him
themselves
out.
have to find the strength to overthrow him. And again, I have to hark back to grandfather's quotation where he said, "Nobody can oppress you more than you can oppress yourself."
Okay, well, that's a good one to end on because we're out of time. Thank you very much for joining us. It's
Thank
been
you.
very
It
interesting.
was a pleasure.
And thank you for bringing him here, Gail.
You're welcome.
And
It's
good
our
luck with the
pleasure.
forums. And we'll be back after a break.
Everyone's long-distance calling is different, and chances are every month is different to the next. That's why BC Tel created Personalized Long Distance, a new plan that automatically applies its best rates to where you call the most each month, from as low as 10 cents a minute. Call 1-888-561-5554 to get new personalized long distance that's one of a kind. Just like you.
Be close. BC Tel.
Edgar and Minor have a whole new look. Now they're Edgar and Minor Carpet One.
It's simple. More buying power means better savings.
Low prices, quality carpet.
We have got the best guarantees. 25-year wear warranty and a 15-year mat crush warranty.
And a 60-day satisfaction guarantee.
And at Edgar and Minor Carpet One in Victoria, make no payments and pay no interest for 6 months.
Value, total value.
Still the same Victoria tradition.
Visit the new Edgar and Minor Carpet One on Bay.
It could be the breathtaking beach, or the elegant dining, or maybe the cozy log cottages. In any case, discover the difference at Tynemera Resort Hotel in Parksville. The romance, the pampering, the luxury and nature you owe yourself. Your weekend getaway at Tynemera is affordably priced. Tynemera Resort Hotel in Parksville on Vancouver Island. Call toll-free 1-800-663-7373 and discover the difference.
Pivot Vendors Hall.
Even Goldilocks would have an easy time choosing a spring wall chiropractic mattress. There's so many. 5 varieties, each available in firm and extra luxury firm. Dodds Furniture is your chiropractic mattress center. Sleep healthy and feel better. Shop Dodds Furniture on Finlayson in Victoria. Take it from a sleep expert. Goldilocks.
Pivot Vendors Hall.
And coming up, we'll be talking about corporate funding in the school system, also family service cutbacks, some interesting developments, BCMA doctors controversy, and our finance minister provincially, Andrew Petter, will also be joining us, and that will be coming up next week. Now, if you have questions you would like to fax us with respect to corporate funding or comments, you can fax us at 250-389-1226. And in closing, Arun Ghandi has handed me the 8 blunders, which is Mahatma Gandhi's 7 blunders and the one he's added, and I will read those to you. The first is wealth without work, then pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, worship without sacrifice, politics without principles, and the one that's added is rights without responsibilities. I'm sure these resound for you as much as they do for me. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.
It's here, or you can come out. Even in your underwear.